I want a sandwich. Now. Oh, sandwich wench. Yo, wench. Sandwich. Now. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. Oh, sandwich wench. I want a sandwich. Sandwich.
Hello everyone, welcome to another political recap stream here on the Moisky Live channel. Hope you're all having a fantastic day and I've remembered to change the set to us on Time for a Change. Hope you're doing well, hope you have a fantastic Friday. Yes, that. Saturday if you're watching this on Rumble or listening on Spotify. Joining me to talk about some things, we like things, is Trups. Say hello, Trups.
Hello, Trups.
Oh jeez, I thought Discord had failed again, you took so long. Oh.
No, I was letting it sit.
Oh, I thought you were going to get a can or something.
I did. Did you not hear it?
No, I didn't. No, hang on.
Oh my god.
I'll get my bottle. I'll pop the cork. Don't worry.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure it'll be in my audio.
There you go.
Apparently there has been a thing where there have been some noise filters that have been added over time to Discord to avoid things like eating and stuff like that. So,
but it never makes your audio on YouTube sound any better.
No, in fact, I'm pretty sure those filters are why my audio sounds like garbage.
Oh, don't! I can't be arsed with it. Hello, yeah. YouTube people. Hope you're well. We'll say hello to you in a moment. How's Trups been?
Trups is fine and dandy.
Going into the festive spirit.
I will next week. I think. Next week I won't be here, by the way, telling you that.
That's quite all right. I've got plenty of streaming and things I can do. Video stuff. I'm taking advantage of December, aren't I?
Yes.
I just need to find topics, you know.
That is because I'm going to a Yule time event thing that I do every year with some friends. Actually, the person who officiated my wedding actually is the person who hosts it.
Which wedding? The official wedding or the wedding wedding?
Yes. Well, actually, they did both.
Oh well, that's good. That's good. But consistency is key.
It was part of the deal. I was like, hey, can I have you sign these papers? Yes. Okay, cool. Can you also do this in a year?
Well, I'm glad they said yes, and I'm glad that is...
Oh, they're a lovely group, and honestly, I love those two so much. They've been really kind to both my wife and I. Good rocks to have. Very... The wife in that relationship is she's very Southern mother type.
Yeah. So
very empowering in you. Very I believe in you. If you need anything, you let me know. I've actually stayed at their house before when there was a hurricane that I had to evacuate from. Mm-hmm. Like they are more than accommodating. Very very kind-hearted people.
It's very strange to me that at nearly 38 years old. You are a lot younger than me, and yet you're married. You've got your own house. You've got all this. You got your shit in gear, basically. You know. I'm 38. I've got a box bedroom and a log cabin.
Hey, look. I mean,
I'm nearly 38.
I want to say that things, in my case, like things worked well for me for a long period of time. But also, I was extremely lucky in a lot of cases.
I think it's a fascinating. You look at people's lives, and so a lot of it comes down to choice. And I often don't, like with the unemployment I had to try and get jobs with, I don't blame anyone for it. I just couldn't get a job. We went through a massive recession. There were no jobs. So I couldn't work. I lost most of my 20s because of that. I lost my best years, basically, because those years were the ones where I'd be working up the ladder, wouldn't I? Couldn't do it. But then I went to my
But you
30s.
also really can't blame yourself for
No,
for
I
most
don't.
of
I
that.
don't. I don't. I never sought to blame anyone. I just envy a little, and obviously I also realise that a lot of my hang-ups come from my child. Like for example, I am one of the most awkward people in real life. I cannot talk to people. I cannot socialise. It's not because I'm introverted, by the way. I can when I'm comfortable with people. I am very extroverted, oddly enough, and I'm outgoing.
Mhm.
I found that from youth, the awkwardness was there, and it just stopped me from making friends, and so it carried through to life as well, taking chances until I started on YouTube. In fact,
Mhm.
and now I work on my own.
Um,
What a great time to be alive!
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. You're while I may have had more lucky timings in my life, you have a different kind of a work ethic. Like you'll go and do the slogging and like the
Front
job
work.
that people yeah the
I-
stuff that would break down people of my generation.
I'd
Um,
prefer sanitary technician.
no, I don't mean it
No,
like
sorry,
that.
sanitation, not sanitary.
Just moving, doing things with your hands. There are very few of us in my age group and
There
younger
it is. So I
who
saw
want to be mechanics.
I saw an article. I actually put it in a tab for work. It was and I called it entitled bitch. Basically, it was some guy. He's in his early 40s. He went to social media. He's from Austin, Texas. He's 41. He's older than me. He has no savings, no job, relies on his parents to pay his rent for 7 years because he refuses to take work that he believes is beneath him. So it's not just your generation. It's also I put it in our server for you. He believes there are people like that's millennials, by the way. Obviously, we know millennials, my generation, are entitled twats, and that's fascinating.
Well,
I think
obviously.
they are the PlayStation. I prefer PlayStation generation, but entitled twat seems to be or millennial seems accurate. I personally think we're the ones that thankfully would try and reduce the birth rate a little bit, just to give humanity a little bit of a chance. But it turns out once any of them got pregnant, they all got married all of a sudden. That empowerment went out the fucking window.
You say that, but a lot of millennials in America are not doing that.
I'm okay with this. It's America. Your country's huge. Huge. Massive. Although,
Huge.
I do find that a lot of those that I see now being spoken of on Threads, Twitter, Instagram. In fact, one of the videos accidentally got played in my trucking stream earlier when I hit the wrong button on my side panel. That instead of hitting the high-vis, what are the big lights, whatever they're called, it accidentally turned on a video from a Twitter video, which makes fuck all sense. But it played it anyway, and it was somebody having a massive breakdown while telling us about their gender and pronouns. And it wasn't the video I was interested in. It was actually the responses of, you do realise you're laughing, crying, and having a fit over your identity whilst also not telling us anything. Because there's a level of confusion from your generation now, which is mostly my generation's fault. You know, it's like the baby boomers, millennials blame the baby boomers for them existing. Gen, whatever you are, can blame the millennials. And isn't that
I am
wonderful?
the oldest of Gen Z, the youngest of millennials, depending on where you sit. Because 95 is a hard year to relegate that time.
Are the baby boomers Gen X then?
No, baby boomers are the children of the greatest generation.
Okay, so who's Gen X and who's Gen Y?
So Gen X would be people who were pretty much born in the 70s and 80s.
Oh, so I'm Gen X then, millennial.
No, you are a little too young.
I was 86.
No, you are. See, like me, you hit
I'm on the
5.
line. Yeah, I'm on the line.
Yeah, you're one of the oldest millennials.
Oh, that's shit. I wish that's just bullshit. You turn 38 next year, Michael. Do you? Hello, everyone in the chat. By the way, sorry about this. I'm just fascinated. We should probably say hello to everyone. Let's see who we got. Shadow Band. Hello, Michael. Hello, Orla. Thank you for the whiskey, by the way. I've stuck the gift note you sent with the Kendall Mint, and I'm going to give it to Dave. Hello to Chaos. Hello, Chantal's Timu Hold Insulin. That's a foodie beauty thing. Hello, Simius. Hello, Fubar Freak. Hope you're doing well. Hello, Leona. If I missed anyone else, do say hi so we can haze your brains out. But yeah, I find it fascinating. I often wonder with like my generation. I'm obviously English. We're very where I grew up. We were incredibly like repressed. Like not necessarily Vulcan, but like very held back. And I find even now, people try and talk about how open they are, but I just see hints of that past. They haven't let go of shit, really. A lot of the younger people I encounter now want to be more like some of the people I grew up with, and I really don't want them to be like that because they accomplish fuck all. I can give an example. There is someone that lives near me. He has multiple brothers, multiple sisters. He's mid-20s and shares his bedroom with two very young, under 10-year-old brothers. Right? He has no inspiration, no aspiration. He doesn't want to do anything. He just lives paycheck to paycheck at his parents' house. He doesn't want to be or do anything beyond work. And that's another thing I've noticed with a lot of younger people. A lot of the interest in hobbies seems to be out the window.
Yeah, it's the hobbies that require you to like do things with your hands. So I will take one piece of that is, I guess, the exception, and that is things like Warhammer.
Yeah, good.
And the only reason I say that is because Warhammer I find is very popular amongst my age group.
It's growing.
Yes, and I like one of my groomsmen, who is a firefighter. He is a big Warhammer fan.
Good. Above my desk is a medal, a winner's medal, a finalist medal for a painting Warhammer competition.
Yes, I remember you telling me about that.
And I'm very proud to have that. I think I've got a bronze somewhere. I don't know where it is though. A statue. I just don't. I think it got broken. I just never fixed it. But the with and all of that's cool. I really do appreciate it though. It's just one of those things. I just have to. It's free whiskey, seriously. Seriously, yeah, it's good whiskey too. And
we take those.
Sorry,
I said we take those free things.
We do. Hell yeah, I need it. It's helping me fuel me while I beg for money so I can buy an OLED Steam Deck. I'm very close to it.
Oh yes.
I think I need £80, and then I'll be able to buy one.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, what was I talking about before that? There was a thing.
You were talking about
Warhammer.
Warhammer.
Yes. So I was talking to somebody on in my Twitch chat earlier, and they were talking about there's gatekeeping, and I'm like, there's gatekeeping in every fandom, hobby, interest. There's gatekeeping in guitar playing. If I start playing my guitar on Instagram, which I'd love to like play my guitar more on social media, but I just don't have the. I've got an account separate from everything, and I'd love to use it, but I just don't have the confidence to do it. Okay. But you find gatekeeping in all walks of it, but there's not. I don't, from my experience, and 27 years worth of experience here, I have never encountered any level of toxicity from anyone. There is a bit of debate when it comes to canon, what gets retconned, what does not. The most recent debate was whether or not Grey Knights would ever get their Primaris upgrade. The answer is no. Their gene seed is derived from the Emperor. They are, by definition, the most perfect psychic warriors to ever exist. They do not need the physical upgrades because their mind is superior to their body. There are people who disagree with this, and that's only because they're too thick to be able to paint smaller models.
I like that it boils down to I don't want to use the tiny brush.
My bronze demon was for painting a small model. My finalist medal was for painting the original metal Pedro Cantor. It's in a display case on my shelf. It's small. It's a starty size. Like, fam, it means jack shit. Like, honestly. The Emperor's Banana Boy still a thing. Oh, the Custodies, yeah, they're still a thing. I've got an army of them, in fact. But yeah, Warhammer is quite inclusive. It really is. And yes, they're trying to get more girls involved. They really are. They always have Sisters of Battle, the Adeptus Sororitas. The Eldar, of course, heavily lean in more feminine qualities, especially if you have the Phoenix Lord Jane Czar and the Harlequins. Howling Banshees, not Harlequins. That's the Eldar Laughing God. But you've got.
Ironically, my wife actually quite likes the look of Necrons and Harlequins.
It's because secretly your wife is an anorexic in disguise. Now you can tell her I said that.
Okay.
No, Necron.
She'll be thrilled. She's gonna hit me for that.
Oh, good. Pass it on. Necron, just keep the receipt for when I come over to the States and be like, right, I owe you. Remember how I owed you one? Yeah. Crack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just hi, Meg. Shakes hands. Smack.
That's for you.
Yeah. That was the check on the 8th of December 2023. I don't really take offense to people joining or getting involved. I think it's great and I like it. I don't care for gatekeeping, but there's always going to be a gatekeeper. Always. It's why on my server, some people like to talk about Warhammer, and they know I love Warhammer, but I can't talk about it. Because I know that if I get involved, I then become a gatekeeper. So I push myself back on purpose. Because I want people to enjoy the hobby. I know I'm a dickhead, and I won't be. I won't enjoy it if I throw myself into those conversations beyond to say someone, you're incorrect. Oh, and Simia said that either that or she's into necrophilia. So, you're welcome.
See, I'm just going to ignore that. I'm just really thrilled about, like, I don't touch the models. I'm not skilled. I have a problem with soldering, so trying to paint is not my thing.
That's understandable. Even now, near 38 years old, I hold both my hands out, and there's not a flicker of movement in them.
I envy you for that. But yeah, gatekeeping is everywhere, sure. And honestly, one of the funniest things is there was a post that was going around for a while that said that there was a 2015 study of Halo 3 players.
Oh God, I think I know what you're talking about as well.
It was the higher tiered players were much more accepting and willing to work with female players.
Yeah.
Versus the lower tiered players who were more aggressive or dismissive of females. And this was hilarious to me because I'm just like, yes, the betas are beta. Who the fuck thought that was surprising?
I honestly, I'd heard about that and it made me laugh so much because I thought typical really. Hello Ragamuffin. If I missed anyone, do let us know. We'll say hello. It's typical that younger or newer players would want to be a bit more protective because I don't think they realise what the community is actually like.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Now, I mean, in general, the whole gatekeeping thing in terms of like beyond Warhammer or guitar playing, but there's a valid reason for gatekeeping too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In terms of politics, we have seen things during Gamergate is a really good example because a lot of self-righteous people wanted to shoehorn their way into a series of fandoms that they knew nothing about. My favorite is always Anita Sarkeesian talking about how women are always portrayed in video games as damsels in distress, citing things like Peach or Zelda, while ignoring things like Samus and the fact that Zelda quite literally is one of the strongest entities in the Zelda universe.
I need to play Tears of the Kingdom.
As a reincarnation of the goddess Hylia, yes, she has enormous power, and actually Tears of the Kingdom really does a really nice job of kind of illustrating just how much power that actually means.
Yeah, I haven't got around to playing it. I've got it on the Switch with free with my OLED, and I was very happy about that. But I've been playing this one.
Well, Sheikah's just Zelda. Sheikah's Zelda.
See, I'm quite intrigued.
But Impa, if you want to go by that, Impa being the leader of the Sheikah is also an extremely powerful person.
If you remember some of the photos of Anita when she was doing articles, she had stacks of games next to her, and there were so many duplicates in those piles. And then she also admitted she never played any of them.
And that was one of the issues that I had, and talks about gatekeeping, like gatekeeping Anita Sarkeesian out of the gaming space was Bayonetta was another one.
Oh, Bayonetta was cool.
And also, she's female Dante, and it's amazing. And I want a crossover so goddamn bad.
Devil May Cry 1, 2, and 3 were absolutely awesome.
Devil May Cry fucking 4. No, Devil May Cry 5 is amazing too. I have it on Steam.
I have PS2. I didn't have any versions afterwards. I missed out on that, I think.
And to Michael, Impa, the dried out racing person, earlier games, Ocarina of Time. She was like a 6 foot tall, like jacked bodyguard of Zelda in the original Ocarina of Time.
Well, time wasn't kind.
No, it was not.
Yeah, gatekeeping. I don't really. I mean, I understand in some instances it's about some people feel like they're protecting the intellectual property of what what they
Right.
what they love. I just don't really give a shit. Really, it's just gatekeeping. It's not necessarily a
Mhm.
bad thing, but it isn't really a good thing either.
There's good gatekeeping and bad gatekeeping. A lot of the examples you'll see when people mention gatekeeping is just people who don't like new people coming into their stuff. The loudest voices in gatekeeping are usually people who have no good reason to gatekeep.
Yeah, I do find that a lot of people get accused of gatekeeping, and it's used somewhat erroneously.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Star Wars is another good example.
Oh no, fuck Star Wars. Yeah.
I'm looking at my Steam, right, and I just see Jedi: The Fallen Order.
I have that, so it's fine.
And I'm like, yeah, Star Wars too.
The only game I installed on my laptop. I need to play it.
Anyway, moving on though.
Yeah, please let's move on. We
can talk about culture stuff all the time.
Yeah, we've been here for 20 minutes already. Sorry about that. Okay, so a third of the stream down. Recently, you had some primary nomination debate things, yes?
Yes, we did.
And ignoring Vivek, because we'll get to him, I'm sure, soon. Who did the best out of the rest?
Okay, according to the media, and for all intents and purposes, our most recent Republican primary debate featured 4 people. That was Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, Nikki Haley, and Vivek Ramaswamy.
Sweet.
Amongst those, excluding Vivek, you had Ron, Chris Christie, and Nikki Haley. The media alleges that Nikki Haley flew away with that with flying colors with a follow-up by Chris Christie. Because Chris Christie basically let up too many opportunities for Nikki Haley to capitalize, which was how the liberal media defined their analysis of it. While at the same time saying that the others, Vivek, Chris Christie, and Ron, basically just dogpiled onto Nikki Haley, and because women.
Shocker.
Yes. In my personal opinion, amongst the 3, excluding Vivek, because I believe Vivek won, yeah, I guess Nikki won. I guess. Because Ron doesn't really do much anymore. He's kind of just there. I mean, like, his points are like more or less valid in a lot of cases, but like he doesn't really stand out as like a driving force in these debates much. But I never think Chris Christie is going to do well because while he speaks to the conservative platform of George Bush and McCain, he lacks the integrity from people looking at his past to really give him a clean slate going into things. He's also kind of an asshole, and not like an asshole like that has good points, like an asshole who has bad points. He's like Hassan.
I know very little about Chris Christie beyond the hurricane. So I've bothered to go and get a little thing here, a little article which has been hidden behind an ad block. Nice. 13 moments. Oh, his worst moments. And the first one is the Obama embrace. I know nothing about it because I've had to put it through archive. Do you know what that's about?
I imagine it has something to do with Chris Christie either literally physically hugging Obama or embracing his policies, which would automatically basically align you with establishment.
Is that quite common with New Jersey?
Yes, actually.
That makes sense then. For hang on, wasn't he Republican governor though?
Yes, but of a very blue state.
That's very good.
So it's kind of like how Arnold Schwarzenegger was the Republican governor of California.
Yeah.
It's like, you're a Republican, sure, but like, let's also remember what that means. Like, you're still a Republican of a Democrat state. It makes you very, very left still.
Has California actually been properly red since Reagan, or was it? It was very red then. No, it hasn't.
It has not been red since.
Interesting. So, do you know off the top of your head anything that Chris Christie has done in his life?
Chris Christie was during his tenure as a governor. There was the infamous bridge incident in which he closed a bridge to New Jersey to New York, and it was over something that he was, I believe, he was traveling. I typed in bridge incident on fucking
Okay.
Google, and the first one that came up was PewDiePie.
Well, thankfully, I found the instances. I've got them archived now. I can go through them if you like.
Yeah, it was basically all lanes on the George Washington Bridge blocked by Chris Christie's ego.
Yeah. Okay, so you were right about the Obama embrace. It was openly welcoming President Obama to tour the wreckage, praising him for his response, which was considered a picture of bipartisanship. The second is a confrontation over medical marijuana because of the state implementing medical marijuana law.
Yeah, so that's a thing still, actually, and I believe New Jersey, I don't remember if they did recreational recently or not, but I wouldn't be surprised. That would be a very negative thing for most young people.
He dumped a Supreme Court justice, and then the state Senate president, blocked 4 of Christie's nominees to the court in the wake of the move. It's on here. In Chris Christie's first year, he made a high-profile bid for hundreds of millions of dollars in federal education reform money in a program called Race to the Top, but it fell 3 points shy of nabbing the final spot because of an application error. It cost the state $400 million. Oh dear. He backed off his pension promise, killing the Arc Tunnel, which was a rail tunnel under the Hudson River, even though work had already begun. Many public spats, running for president away from New Jersey, endorsing Donald Trump, Beachgate. Oh dear. Right, okay. A day
He's
after,
an asshole.
Yeah, he's an asshole, because after they were closed, he then turned up and started using, the beach. And Bridgegate was number 1, by the way. He denied any involvement and was never charged.
Yeah, and not only that, but there were policies that he tried to float where it would take money away from firefighters, police, and public school teachers, of which at the time my mother was a public school educator, so I did not hear enough about how much complaining she was doing about that whole thing, because it was stripping money away from public work.
Ignoring the utter fail that is Chris Christie, but it's nice to see him make up the numbers. What about the other nominees?
So Nikki Haley is basically getting slammed by most people for her corruption, which we talked about briefly last week.
We did.
Things about Boeing with the Chinese.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
I mean, we could now mention that on Vivek's card, his notes. What did you see what it said?
Yes, I did. It said Nikki equals corrupt.
Yeah. I saw that meme to high hell, but the fact that that picture is legit had me cry with laughter. Like, the guy came into a debate with a big block of paper, and on the front of it was just Haley or Nikki equals corrupt. That in just block capitals written as like a placard. That to me, honestly, it's an archive link. Okay, never mind. Yeah, it's that cracked me up.
That was a different article that I had sent to Chaos last.
Okay. Sorry, wasn't sure. I think that based on the context of the it says at Trups there. I should have noticed that. I have horrendous tunnel vision at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Anyway, okay. So who else was ignoring? We'll get to Vivek at the end. Who else was on that?
Ron DeSantis, who basically is just trying to exalt himself, basically saying that he's better because look at all the things I do in Florida. Look how good I am. Haha.
I don't know if that's a brag. I mean, it can. Excuse me. My apologies. It can be a brag, but just because you've done it there doesn't mean you'll be able to do it on a national level, where all states are very different. Additionally, you've not been governor that long, so while it's impressive to impact that much change that fast, it doesn't mean your change will be good long term.
Not only that, but there's also impacting a state is also a very different kind of deal when you have a legislature that is Republican versus having to deal with the legislature amongst, the entirety of the country, which can be a little bit more nuanced and have a few more issues than the difference between Tampa and Pensacola.
Agreed. There's a very big cultural difference per state. So I do genuinely believe DeSantis' best hope would have been to run in 4 years' time or after a second term as governor.
I think so too, actually.
Because I think he needed the experience to prove that his plans worked long term. And I assume it's a 4-year term for governor.
I believe it is.
So if that's the case, a second term, which he was elected for, I believe. I think he.
Yeah.
So I personally think a second term would have been ideal to prove that he can do this. Also, he's young enough; he could do that. He loses now. I still think he can come back, but he only gets one more shot.
Sure. Yeah, I would say so. But even when you have nothing else to give to your state, and this was one of my issues with Nikki Haley, because she was a good governor of South Carolina. The way that people viewed her, because before any of this ever happened, she was just elected to South Carolina governor, and that was prior to a lot of her the things that we accuse her of now. Before that, she was actually a very functionally successful governor of South Carolina, and a lot of people were a little upset when she took the role in the White House and the ambassadorship, because that means that you strip the governor away from us, and we kind of want that. We kind of want to keep those. Not to say that what South Carolina has now is a bad thing, but at the time, I mean, we were kind of just left in the dark a bit.
Well, she was a governor for 2 terms. She was very successful in that regard.
Yes,
succeeded
very
by
much
a
so.
Republican as well. So she didn't go out as a loser at least.
True, but in terms of how she performed in the debate, while yes, she did bring up the whole woman card, and there's plenty of flack that we can give her for that. The conversations that were had on Nikki Haley's behalf regarding her policies and whatnot, a lot of people cannot get over the fact that her sellout to China while she was in a trusted role was is a sin unforgivable, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing being that if you are an individual who wants to basically stand on merit, then if you use the same kind of cop out of feminists, they're attacking me on women, then you're playing identity politics, and that's not really something that we want to do. What the populace of the Republican Party really want to play that game. That seems like a cop out to the other side of things, not necessarily it's not a good look for the people who if they want to give you the shot to play the victim card. It makes you look like you don't actually align with our views of how society or culture should be moving.
Yeah.
And so there's herself shooting herself in the foot a bit, but of course that is why liberal media might give her a pass and might appreciate a bit more of what she has to say. Other than that, her policy wise, I mean, she is all for sending money overseas to Ukraine, to Israel. She wants to play a bit more of the war hawk position in this case.
Yeah.
Which it's not a far out there kind of position to have. There's a lot of people who still very much believe that we should definitely get involved, stay involved when it comes to things like Israel. I'm just not one of those people. But if you look at, from my point of view, then I don't think that's a good policy position. And so that, that colors my bias.
Mm-hmm. Understandably so.
Other than that, though, basically all that's left is to talk about Vivek, who is, firebranding as always.
Well, he doesn't have any. This is again. That's why I mentioned to you before we started that there was an air of Trump about this because the guy isn't involved in politics.
Mm-hmm.
He's inserted himself, and he's putting them in a very uncomfortable position because, much like when Trump was running, this guy's not establishment. He is able to simply say the truth or what. It's like when wasn't there any? There was 4 years ago. There was someone running. I don't know. I think he was a Democrat. Was the East Asian American guy?
Young. No. Yang.
And I thought he. But obviously, considering what the party, they weren't going to go with him because Democrats really do love their establishment.
They do.
That sort of person stands out. Obviously, I couldn't remember his name. Some terrible names.
And it is Andrew Yang. It took me a second. I had to pull it back out of my the recesses of my brain.
But Vivek is doing. It's not necessarily in the same what is considered super misogynist, vitriolic, acidic kind of Trump way. But he is happily holding him to the mark like Trump did, but with more information and less "I'm going to put you in prison" remarks.
Right. Well, you see, Vivek plays this. He is a entrepreneur and a businessman. That is his bread and butter and his claim to fame in general.
You'd be welcome.
The media will slam him as a tech bro, which I mean, yes, that's technically true.
Doesn't matter really, though.
It does not. But par for the course when it comes to just like saying words.
Well, of course.
And that's politics all is, basically. It's like, oh, say words. That word makes me upset. Okay. There's a Family Guy joke about it where Lois is running for, like, mayor or whatever, and she just goes, 9/11. And everyone claps and cheers. And it's like, yeah, that's politics in a nutshell. Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Buzzwords and sound bites. That's all it's about.
Mm-hmm. And, but yeah, I mean, in terms of Vivek is a tech bro. That's totally fair. But in terms of his policies, him saying things like he fully believes that the government, the deep state, I should be more specific, has had a hand in January 6th, that the Saudis had a hand in 9/11, despite our government having originally told us they didn't. And that's where the 9/11 trutherism comes out, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the whole thing was that he had said during the debate that the Saudis had played a part in the 9/11 attack, which objectively is true based on unclassified documents. However, the media took that as, he is a truther, or like is trying to say that the Saudis were responsible for 9/11. No, that's not what he said. He said that he played a part. And that information is part of declassified documents that are publicly now accessible. And I think, what was the other one? That there was a third thing that he mentioned during that whole rant that he went on. But basically, those pieces were fundamentally and almost. And this was a Fox News debate, by the way. Even Megyn Kelly, who was doing the moderating for the debate, was basically said, "Okay, sir, thank you."
Didn't she get told
I'm
off
hyperbolizing, but
I think one of the guests at the end told her off. I can't remember which one it was. It might have been Chris Christie.
probably.
Let's find out. It was no, Vivek slaughtering Haley. Yeah, Chris Christie throwing a fit to Megyn Kelly after Vivek told him to go enjoy a nice meal.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that.
I'm okay with this because it's not wrong.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, while I have to criticize because, as I had said previously, yeah, okay, you're saying words. However, that one makes me giggle. And it's something that, a lot of people are often thinking when they see Chris Christie. That's kind of like, it's the same joke that you would lodge at Taft, right, in the past, okay? So don't feel bad just because people are commenting on your weight. Maybe go fucking treadmill.
Treadmill's
and
good.
people won't talk about it so much.
Treadmill's good. It's good for your core.
But Vivek basically went on a spree talking about like all of the things that he believes to be like, this is something that we find objectionable. We find this kind of information or this kind of stuff regarding deep state involvement in things like January 6th or the deep state refusal to accept. I think it was the. I remember the third thing now. It was the deep state being responsible for election interference in the 2020 election.
Well,
and that's also technically true because we are finding that out every day about the impacts that have come from the government, and they're using their back channels to get to places like Twitter, like Facebook, like YouTube.
Yeah.
So none of these things are objectively incorrect. But nobody, and he basically said, he goes, why am I the only one who is able to say this? Why can I say this, but no one else has the audacity to say so?
I think the reason they don't have the balls to say it is because of personal interest. Like they have something somewhere that and also they're established. They worry they lose their funding, their backing, they'd lose core voters. They're playing a game. He's not playing a game. Right.
He doesn't have to play the game because he does his money and all that stuff comes from himself.
We've all just
he doesn't need to. Fuck you. Accurate though. But yeah, that is true. He does not have to worry about playing the game because, well, he runs his own, and even if he loses now, it doesn't stop him from running again later. And things of that nature. But I still really like him. I don't think he's going to win. I still think that if anybody doesn't think that Donald Trump is going to secure the nomination, barring some sort of like Supreme Court decision that says that he can't, I think that might be delusional at this point.
Shocker.
I mean, they're trying really hard to make sure that he cannot run or things of that nature. They do not want him to be anywhere near this election if they can help it.
It's not going to work.
No, it's not. But that's not stopping them from trying as hard as they fucking can.
You don't think it's somewhat ironic? They claim, for example, that Trump is denying the 2020 election when they themselves are trying to find every way possible to stop him from running.
Yes, that is an irony that is not lost on many people who are watching this happen.
Though. Fucking hell. Completely lost on them.
I don't think it's actually lost on them. I think they are intentionally ignoring that fact. I think they are intentionally ignoring it because if they were to acknowledge it, it would be really, really inconvenient.
I would say I'm impressed, but I'm not.
Right. It's honestly just a disappointment. They are just a disappointment is really what it comes down to. And this is establishment just in general. They are a disappointment in that they will not accept that what they are doing to Donald Trump is every way possible that they can use the legal system in order to stop him from moving forward with his campaign in a way that ordinarily would be expected of individuals who are campaigning. Basically, them performing all of these different things, whether it be the New York one that strips him of his worth, the January 6th insurrection crime that they're doing in DC, the documents case that they're doing in Georgia. These three cases are just different ways that they can poke holes in keeping him from campaigning because they know how powerful he is when he is able to speak to people. It's why they limited his speech on X. It's why they keep shitting on True Social.
Although I would say he has at least got his X account back. Although I have seen a movement this week. Have you seen that Musk is now starting to consider giving Jones his account back?
That's nice.
The Quartering has been on
I had
it.
not.
But the Quartering's been retweeting a lot of stuff, and Musk did reply to him once about it. And it's fascinating, really, because what actually got him yeeted off Twitter in the first place wasn't actually something he tweeted. It was a video that somebody else had tweeted with Alex Jones in it.
That's interesting. I actually did not know that.
I didn't realize you could be done for guilt by association.
Well, of course you can, because if you are the wrong kind of people, we don't like you.
Apparently so.
And that sounds as racist as it is. Now, we had a very interesting thing beyond the primary. We had something else very interesting happen. And it involves current politics, and I think you might want to know about this. So there were 3 different people who went up in front of the Senate yesterday. Yesterday? 2 days ago?
Yeah.
The 5th. 3 days ago. And those people were the presidents of UPenn, MIT, and Harvard. And they were asked by Representative Elise Stefanik if calls for the genocide of Jews was considered harassment. More famously, the president of UPenn said it's context.
Yeah. That video was doing that video along with some gender-related videos as well, were doing their rounds. Honestly, that video killed me. I couldn't believe what I had. Can you imagine how many Jewish students are now going to want to go to that place? Going to want to go.
You mean 0?
Yeah. They're not gonna. Yeah. They're not gonna want to. Nah, mate.
I don't even blame them.
No, I don't either.
I wouldn't want to go there either. If I had somebody who said, yes, the calling for the death of everybody who is associated with my religion, yes. I want to go to the place where the person said that if words become actions, then there's a problem. Elise Stefanik had the greatest response to that, saying, "What? When the words become actual genocide?"
Yeah,
okay,
honestly,
that's a bit of a hyperbole, but yes, that's essentially what she did say.
I do I do want to point out, as an Englishman, we do have to chuckle. We hear people talk about how great Harvard, MIT, and Princeton, Yale, and all that lot are. But we Brits are sat back here like, motherfuckers, stop it. Your colleges are an absolute joke, and they've been that way since Title IX.
Yeah.
And I don't mean Title IX as a principle. I mean how
the abuse of it.
Yeah, with the dear colleague letter.
Yeah.
Like, fam, no college should have the ability to do what colleges in your country are doing, because that defies due process in the first place. And the police should fully be involved in any crime first. The fact that that wasn't how it was done is wrong, and that's not justice. That's not democratic in the sight. No, fuck off.
Now I will tell you there is a silver lining to this though.
Oh,
because that video was circulating so much.
Optics, man. Optics aren't good.
Optics on their donors, on their supporters of those colleges have said, you need to fix this immediately, or I'm not giving you another fucking cent. So, there are people like Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports who said, I will not hire a single person with a degree from those places.
So I'm somewhat surprised that it was the donors that noticed first, because I could imagine people would go to the list of donors and be like, right, I'm now going to every last, like going after a YouTuber's sponsors. That's what I was expecting you to say. And to find that the donors are like, nah, bitch, I've got a receipt for you.
They got super pissed.
As they should. And it's discrimination on religious grounds. It's terrible.
And it looks awful.
It looks awful for a few obvious reasons. And I'm somewhat impressed that they had the balls in that rather large room to say it.
And not only are those pieces like a great silver lining to this, But then I think a day later, the president of UPenn then went back and said, "I misspoke. When I was on, I was responding to those questions. I was thinking about our policies in line with the Constitution, which says that a person's words will not be used to further, push them aside, and that stuff." Meanwhile, UPenn, MIT, and Harvard all have issues with things like fat phobia, with things like gendered language.
Well, places like New York City have made it clear that you can't discriminate now based on height or weight of a person.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Honestly, how do you prove someone's been discriminated against because they're fat?
I can tell you exactly how they do it on planes.
I mean, yeah, you pay for an extra seat.
Well, not only that. Imagine for a moment that you are on a fat person convention, or you're going on a plane to a fat person convention. Everybody on the plane is like 300, 400 pounds. God, you actually have to balance the plane in a different way.
They're like double me. I can't be asked.
You actually have to balance the plane in a different way.
Yes, I've heard about the shifting of weight to reduce the pressure placed on engines and wings on sides.
Flight literally changes. Like the aerodynamics literally changes based on weight.
I will admit that does make me chuckle. I've been covering a lot of people of late who have been acting as if they've been discriminated against because of that. And I have to sit back and I usually go with the thing of these companies can do whatever the hell they want because they base it on the average of the majority customers. So if you have to buy an extra seat, you buy an extra seat. Simple as that, Tubbs. But then I find that actually I remember being told about the science of the weight as well, and I never included it either. I really should. If I do another one, I'm going to bloody well cover that part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should look up like what the aerodynamics is of balancing planes.
To be honest, I could probably work it out. The mathematics isn't overly complicated.
No, it's actually pretty simple. And in addition, if you ever look up like how the people who load bags will perform that task, that also matters. It's why you have to weigh your bag at the airport.
Yeah, it's a fuel efficiency thing as well, I guess.
Yes, it is. And also, it's more than fuel efficiency. It's making sure you don't run out of fuel on the way there.
Well, I figured efficiency covered that to an extent.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'm being more specific.
Oh no, understandably so.
As opposed to like, oh yeah, we're just trying to be greener, right?
Oh, fuck that shit. No lives matter.
But yeah, so that was an interesting thing. Donors were pulling out, and there are people who literally said like, no, we will not hire you if you have that degree, which should make the students pissed. Because now your degree is worthless to some employers. That's a terrible thing. That's an awful thing.
100% it is actually awful.
Imagine you take out debt and then find out that people won't even accept your job application because you have a degree from MIT or Harvard. That is nutty. Absolutely fucking insane.
To be honest, I think it would kill me because I would want. When I got my degree, I'm sure you felt the same. I was very optimistic. I really wanted to be a doctor, get a PhD in chemistry, and be a research associate. That's what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
But obviously, I got hit by recession, my opportunity, and obviously got stabbed in the back. But recession is the main problem, and the opportunities just vanished. But to know that there would have been a chance where I could have had a job but taken from me because of where I studied, which back then when I studied at this university was in the top 10. Now it sits at like 90 of 140 in the country. Like it's education institutions, it's so low down in the rankings, it's almost an insult to call it a university game.
That's terrible.
It is, but if I'd been denied opportunity because of where I went, I think that would have hurt more because I was very proud to go there. Because I knew it was the best place for what I was good at. I think.
Yeah, no.
So I feel sorry for the students.
It literally will cripple your entire life.
I feel bad for the students that get put in this position because they don't deserve that. Some don't. The ones doing real degrees.
You know that institutions would get someone Oh, yeet somebody for saying the same thing about Muslims. Oh yeah, yeah. If you had the audacity to say genocide all the other ones, I'm not even saying it here. See, that's the shitty part.
Yeah, we're not going to cross that line because we get into so much trouble.
Right? But that's exactly the point, though. That's exactly the point that he's making. If you were to say the other one, then yeah, you would actually get yeeted. Absolutely, 100%. Like, and this is the nutty part, because once upon a time the liberals wanted to protect the minority. Well, I will tell you that the Jews are, I think, the most minority religion of the Abrahamic religions. I believe the Muslims are most populous than the Christians, than Jews, and I mean it's not even fucking close. No, I think there's like, what was it, like 2% of the world's population is Jewish.
I'll take your word for it. I pay so little attention to religion, because I'm just not necessarily ignorant. I'm just completely blind to it.
Sorry, 0.2 of the 8 billion worldwide.
8 billion.
The world as of 2022, the world's core Jewish population was estimated at 15.2 million.
We need to end you guys. Get it over and done with. Humans, that is. Humans. Not one fucking...
That's why I was laughing.
Give it a second. I had to correct myself because I realised I might have made a faux pas then. No.
You
All
did.
humans. No lives matter. Vote for me in 2024, everyone. That's what I meant to say, and I just stopped and thought, pause for effect. Oh shit, I said the wrong thing.
Pause for effect. Yeah, you sure you want that effect? Yeah, the effect wasn't great.
I feel like there's another receipt in there somewhere. Oh, slap.
But yeah, it makes the issue happening around Israel Palestine so much more like nuanced and interesting, because you understand that they have one place, right? They have one place that is literally theirs.
Yeah.
It's just that place, and people are like, "Nah, fuck you! You can't be there." And I'm like, "What the fuck, guys? There's one place."
People were saying move it to another country. I'm like, but that's not how Holy Lands work. How do you not understand this?
Because they don't actually care.
No, they don't, and I think that virtue signaling doesn't work when discussing something as complicated as this. This has existed long before many of the current ideologies that people espouse as their belief system.
Sure.
Faith goes on for far too long, and you cannot simply try and correct it by saying, "Oh, we'll just move you." That's not how this works. Also,
that would technically, if you want to use the Palestine argument, you could also call that displacement. But displacement of displacers is not going to flow well for the Palestine supporters. They'll be like, "Yeah, well, sucks to suck again."
Sucker.
My inner pagan wants to point out how being chosen by that god works out. Not great. Not great. Funny thing. The Abrahamic religions. It's not great. Like, things don't go well if you are like the chosen one of God in most of the stories.
I'm not.
Usually, you have to deal with a lot of shit.
Yeah. I'm going to defer to you on that because I don't pay attention. I mean,
watch Prince of Egypt and see how well it goes.
Watch what?
Prince of Egypt?
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's a movie that was made by Disney back in like when Disney was really good, and it has some of like the greatest music and most like greatest cinematic like displays of grandeur in a animated Disney movie. It's incredible.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I'm have to.
And it follows a fictionalized version of Moses.
Okay, well, I'll have to check it out. That sounds like a fun adventure for me to look into.
It's a very good movie, yes.
It
absolutely.
is? Okay.
Yeah.
So
now go ahead.
No, please go on.
I was just gonna say it's 5:45.
Yeah, I was about to say as well. Okay. You're not here next week, so we don't have to think about that. We don't know if you're here the week after, but it's all good. As Trups isn't here next week, I am going to be doing more than likely a longer stream on Twitch. And if possible working on videos. So I can't think of anything. Nope, dead. This will be uploaded to Rumble and Spotify tomorrow. That's what I was going to say. Thank you for joining, everyone. Really appreciate it. If you do enjoy these streams of us just rambling for an hour, we'd appreciate the likes. It really helps the channel. And of course, you give me all your money so I can buy a Steam OLED deck thing. Yes, that OLED Steam Deck. That's it. Thanks again. We'll see you in a few weeks. Say goodnight, Trups.
Good night, Trups.
Good night, Trups.